So you want to buy a farm, Maybe you've spent years dreaming about it. Endless green fields stretching toward the horizon. Fresh air instead of city traffic. Sunrises over rolling hills. A peaceful life where you grow your own food and build something that lasts for generations. It sounds simple. You find a piece of land, sign a few documents, buy a tractor, plant some crops and wait for harvest. But that's almost never how it works. The moment you become a farm owner, you don't just buy land. You buy a business that never truly stops working. Unlike a factory, a farm doesn't close at night. Unlike an office, it doesn't wait until Monday morning. Every single day, something is growing, breaking, changing, or costing you money. Rain can destroy months of work overnight. A broken irrigation system can ruin an entire season. One disease can wipe out hundreds of animals. A sudden drop in crop prices can erase an entire year's profit before you've even sold a single harvest. And here's the surprising part. Many of the world's largest farms aren't owned by the people working the fields every day. Some belong to investment companies. Some belong to wealthy families that have owned farmland for centuries. Others are owned by pension funds, corporations, or even governments that lease the land to professional farmers. Because in modern agriculture, owning farmland and farming it are often two completely different businesses. So how does buying a farm actually make money? Why do some farmers become incredibly wealthy while others lose everything after just a few bad seasons? And why can two farms sitting right next to each other have values that differ by millions of dollars? To answer that, we first need to understand what you're actually buying. Most people think they're buying dirt. They're not. They're buying one of the most valuable natural resources on Earth. Every farm starts with land, but not all land is created equal. 100 acres of dry, rocky ground can be worth less than 10 acres of rich farmland with reliable water. The color of the soil matters. Its depth matters. Its mineral content matters. Even tiny organisms living beneath the surface can determine whether a farm becomes profitable or fails. Some soil naturally produces massive harvests year after year. Other land requires expensive fertilizer just to grow average crops. Then comes water. Water isn't just important, it's everything. Without reliable water, even the richest soil becomes nearly worthless. Some farms sit beside rivers. Others depend on underground aquifers. Many rely entirely on rainfall. And in some countries, water rights are actually more valuable than the land itself. You may legally own hundreds of acres, but without permission to use enough water, much of that land can never reach its full potential. That's why experienced buyers spend months studying rainfall records, groundwater reports, and irrigation systems before signing a contract. They're not buying today's harvest. They're buying the next 20 years. Location is another hidden factor. A farm located close to highways, railways, and food processing plants can save thousands of dollars every single week. A farm located hundreds of miles away may produce identical crops but spend a fortune transporting them. The crops haven't changed. Only the distance has. Yet that difference alone can determine whether a business succeeds or struggles. Then there are the buildings. Most people notice the farmhouse first. In reality, it's often one of the least important parts of the entire property. The real value lies in grain silos, equipment sheds, livestock barns, cold storage facilities, workshops, irrigation systems, and electrical infrastructure. Replacing even one modern grain storage system can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Building a new dairy barn can cost millions. Suddenly, that simple farm doesn't seem so simple anymore. And then comes the machinery. A modern commercial farm runs on machines almost as much as it runs on people. The average tractor isn't just a tractor anymore. Some cost more than a luxury sports car. The largest ones can easily exceed $500,000 before you attach a single implement. Then add combines, seed drills, sprayers, balers, cultivators, harvesters, trailers, fuel tanks, GPS guidance systems, maintenance equipment, spare parts. Every machine has one job, and every machine eventually breaks. Unlike a personal car, farm equipment often works 16 hours a day during planting and harvest seasons. Every hour it sits broken costs money, sometimes thousands of dollars. Because crops don't wait, nature follows its own schedule. If wheat needs harvesting today, waiting until next week may reduce both quality and quantity. Timing is everything. This is why many farmers own backup equipment or rent additional machines during busy seasons. Not because they want to, because they have to. Then comes labor. Many people imagine farming as one family working together. That still exists. But large commercial farms often employ dozens or even hundreds of workers. Machine operators, mechanics, agronomists, veterinarians, irrigation specialists, accountants, logistics managers, seasonal harvest crews. Each one plays a role in keeping the business alive, and every paycheck continues whether the weather cooperates or not. But perhaps the biggest surprise for new owners is this. Buying a farm doesn't guarantee you'll make money. In fact, many farms lose money in certain years, because owning farmland is only the beginning. The real challenge starts with one simple question. What are you actually going to grow? That single decision changes everything. Corn, wheat, rice, soybeans, cotton, coffee, tea, apples, grapes, or perhaps livestock instead of crops. Each choice comes with completely different equipment, different risks, different profits, and different markets. Some crops take only a few months. Others require years before producing a single dollar. Some need massive irrigation systems. Others depend almost entirely on rainfall. Every decision locks you into an entirely different business model, and choosing the wrong one can cost millions before you even realize your mistake. Because farming isn't simply about growing food. It's about predicting markets years before the harvest ever reaches a customer. And that's where the real business begins.